so today's session is really going to be sort of dipping the toe, as it were, into the chakras, and you know, it's a massive subject, and the temptation is always to sort of try to, you know, initially to try to cram as much information as possible, and that defeats the object, I think, of yoga, because it's all about creating a bit of space in the body and the mind, and really, if you want, you know, if there's any, so if you want to do some further reading after this, then there's a couple of books that I refer to, and probably as yoga teachers, you may well have this one: Asana, Pranayama, Mudra, and Bandha. Hopefully the writing's the right way around on your screen. So it's got a nice kind of introduction towards the end. You can see where my bookmark is there. And then for further deeper reading, we've got this, you know, the Yoga and Kriya, the sort of, it's quite a thick book, quite a heavy book. I think you need quite a bit of yoga training just in order to lift it, actually. So that's they're the two sort of references, and the third reference is I don't know if you probably know Jenny Boehm, you know, who was based around Cheshire quite a while ago, and she sort of disappeared off, and she does keep in touch, but I've lost track of actually where she is keeping in touch from. But she did a yoga course about 10 years ago, more than that maybe, and it was a really, actually, you know, that was my first introduction to this type of thing, and so I've stolen all the postures from her for these various for the various chakras. Anyway, without further ado, let's make a start. So it's about really, this is about awareness today. It's about generating awareness of these various chakra points, and let's start by, if you want to. So it's a very practical guide here. We're going to come down onto the floor, and I should say, yeah. So if you've got a yoga mat and any blocks, are obviously handy. And we're going to come down onto the floor, and when you first come down, you're bringing the knees in towards the chest, and then just releasing the feet back down onto the ground, and just allowing the feet to be far enough away from the body so that, you know, you can, if you just give your legs a bit of a shake, just to release the muscles away from the bones, and then placing the right hand on the belly and the left hand on the heart, and allowing the shoulders to release back into the ground, maybe even, you know, pressing the shoulders and the elbows into the ground at first, and then just releasing from there. So it's just encouraging the shoulders to move back rather than to be hunched forward, and then lengthening the back of the neck by bringing the chin towards the chest, but keeping the back of the head down, and it could be on a block as well if you're finding the head is falling back a bit sharply. And then gently and slowly closing the eyes. So just fusing the breath. So every exhale, just releasing back into the ground a little bit more. So using the power of the exhalation. And simply by bringing awareness into the breath, it starts to get a bit longer, a bit deeper. Maybe you can feel the belly rise and fall underneath the right hand. Maybe you can tune into the heart with the left. So just using the breath, and let's just breathe in 2, 3, 4, and breathing out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So just breathe in deeply. And breathe out a little bit longer. And just feel the physical body melting into the ground. And just notice, just simply a few breaths, the effect this has on the mind as well, mental activity. So just allowing a little bit of space to develop in the body and the mind. Separating ourselves from that, becoming the observer. And we're going to have a bit of a, it's an exploratory and a hopefully contemplative practice today. So we're going to be bringing the awareness to various parts of the body, from the Muladhara Chakra, the perineum for men and the cervix for women, to the Svadhisthana, which is about 2 finger widths up from there. The Manipura Chakra, which is in a location in the spine behind the navel. The Anahata Chakra, the heart center, behind the sternum. The Vishuddhi in the neck. The throat center. We're just going to move up today just to the Ajna Chakra in the center of the head. So we're going to explore these various points and really I'm minded when I spent years trying to get these precise points. Where is it? Where is it? Where are they? And it's about a little bit of intuition. And I asked somebody in the know about this, and where the Anahata Chakra, where exactly was it? And he told me to don't be too worried about that. Just consider it somewhere between the armpits. So let's not be too prescriptive about where these points are. Let's, over time, with practice, we can hone our ability to locate them. So we're just going to prepare to move now. And then as you breathe in, we're going to reach up and over the head with both arms. And then bringing the arms back by the side of the body as we exhale. So just simply moving with the breath, just coordinating that movement and allowing it to flow, this movement. So there's a tendency sometimes to make it a little bit mechanical. So it's our sort of modern day, everything needs to be mechanical. Let's get it done. Let's do it as efficiently as possible. But this is about, allowing the arms and the hands to dance, to flow with this. Now being loose in the wrists, just becoming part of this dance with this simple movement. Bring out your inner ballerina. That's what I say. And then just once more. And just noticing as the arms come up, the rib cage lifts, there's a bit of space in the armpits. Maybe you can feel that through the waist, through the whole front of the body. And then just bringing the arms all the way back down again to the side of the body. And then let's just bring the knees in towards the chest. So first of all, let's just squeeze the knees in. Then let's just release them back down a bit. So we've got a little bit of space, and then placing the right hand on the what am I saying? The right hand on the right knee with the fingers pointed down towards the toes, the left hand on the left knee. And then let's separate the knees out to the side. And then gently circling those knees. So starting circling nice and small circles, and then just getting bigger and bigger. And really it's about becoming aware of what's happening in the hips. So feeling into the hips. Just feeling if there's any resistance in there. Is it a circle or is it a square? Is it a bit of a jaggedy, rocky road going on in there? Or is it nice and smooth? But whatever it is, just be with that and just go extra slowly through this. Any lumps and bumps. We're coordinating this movement with the breath, of course. And next time the knees are together and towards the chest, we're going to just move the knees in the opposite direction. So really nice. Circling, feeling through the hips. Just enjoying this sense of openness, exploration. Creating space. Just observing which part of the body this is affecting. Just enjoying the breath. And then just one more of these circles. And then let's hug the right knee towards the chest with both hands, and then allowing the left foot to come down onto the floor. And then if you wanted to, you could slide that left foot along the ground and eventually come to a straight leg position. And if both feet are active, by the way, so let's keep them. Let's keep the awareness on the feet, and even if you wanted to spread the toes as well, that's a good way of getting the feet into play. And obviously, it's about exploring your own edge. So if a straight leg isn't working for you, then just ease it back so you're in full control there. And then using the abdomen and the pelvic floor, and the exhale. So we're going to breathe in, and then on the exhale, we're going to lift the pelvic floor, engage the abdomen, engage the glutes, and just gently lift the chest towards the right knee, and then release down. So we're using the abdominal muscles, we're isolating into those regions, pelvic floor, abdomen, glutes, no strain on the neck. We could be using the hands on the knee. So moving on the exhale. And then we're going to, after 3 of those movements, we're just going to gently bring the left heel back, release the right foot down, hugging the left knee into the chest. And then from there, just sliding that left heel away, or the right heel away, sorry. I do get my rights and lefts mixed up. So, and I do that really to test you, to make sure that you're listening. And then we're keeping the feet active, toes separated. So feeling that energy. So it's really good to be active in the feet, lifting the arches. And then again, we're going to do that exercise. We're going to, on the exhalation, we're going to lift the pelvic floor, engage the abdomen, engage the glutes, and lift up towards the knee, the chest lifting up, and then release. So it's not a very big movement by any means. So just do 3 of those with your exhalation. And then after that, we're going to release that left foot down, bringing the right knee, the right foot in towards the body, and then just giving the legs a little bit of a shake off. So this sort of that kind of movement is, you know, it's affecting into the base chakra, the Muladhara, and also the fire center, the Manipura. So with the abdominal work, maybe even with just 3 on each side, we can feel a little bit of heat, that beautiful heat which is generated in the abdomen, and just allowing that to diffuse throughout the body. And then we're going to just make sure that the feet are, you know, at decent distance. It's almost like having a right angle between the thigh and the lower leg. And we're going to keep the feet glued to the ground here. So keeping the feet glued to the ground. And we're going to use the thighs to lift up tuck the tailbone under. So we're not going to play around with the abdomen here. We're going to just simply use the thighs. So it's almost as if you're trying to push the feet away, but they're glued down. So engaging the thighs, tucking the tailbone under, and then release. And then on the exhale again, we're going to press those feet away, or try to, but they're glued down, lifting the tailbone under, and release. And then once more, just feeling this connection with the ground, with the soles of the feet and the thighs. Really nice to just isolate these various muscle groups. Very gentle exercise. And I liked that so much. I'm just going to do it once more. It's very Moorish, isn't it? These kind of things. I don't know how you feel about that. Just one more. And then release. And let's just straighten both legs along the floor. So pressing those heels away along the floor, bringing the arms up and over the head. So to find some length along the whole of the body. And really lengthening right side, left side. This is, it's almost as if you've been in a long slumber, just enjoying that opening. It's a real treat to do, and feeling the lift through the sternum as well as you do this. I always find that, you know, if I'm walking along and just simply lifting the sternum, releasing the shoulders back, it just makes me feel a little bit brighter. So it's quite almost smile at times under those circumstances. And then from there, let's just hug the knees gently into the chest once more. And we're going to roll over onto the right-hand side and then come up onto an all-fours position. Okay, so we're going to be on all fours and we're going to come down initially into a wide-legged child's pose. So keeping those toes together, but separating the knees as wide as they'll go. So get a bit of extra padding under the knees. And then just gently sitting back into this wide-legged child's pose. Oh, and you won't believe it, I've got a cramp in my foot. There you go. Must be the pressure of, and then easing back to wide-legged child's pose, and either having the arms active in front, or if you wanted to, you can stack the fists on top of each other, or the palms on top of each other, just resting the forehead down. But the main thing, whichever position you're in, as you breathe in, lengthen the front of the body. So lifting the chest slightly, lengthening, and then releasing down. So it's creating that space. And with this being a wide-legged child's pose as well, it's it really hopefully you'll feel this in the sacrum. Just feel this opening, the space that's created there. And some of these postures I've done so far, they are actually from a yoga for healthy lower backs course. So it really is all good for the back. This type of thing, creating that space. So just one more breath here. And then just gradually ease out of this, nice and slowly, coming up onto all fours, stepping the knees back towards each other, and just sitting back into child's pose momentarily. Breathing in, coming up onto all fours, tucking the toes under, and then sitting back into this child's pose. So giving the backs of the feet a nice opening, and then coming up, and then flatten the feet, coming back down again. And then, if you can hear any creaking, by the way, that's the floorboards, not me. And then tucking, and then from there, as you exhale, tucking the tailbone under, the chin in. So we're going to come into this cat-cow sequence. As you breathe in, lifting up through the chest, up through the sitting bones, not throwing the head back too much, but keeping the neck nicely in line with the rest of the spine. So just moving in and out of this, just enjoying this feeling and the spine, the lower back, the lifting up through the chest. Just being really aware of the opening, both physically and mentally, emotionally, as we go through these simple movements. So really subtle. And then let's just bring the back into a neutral position. And just gently, just rocking back and forwards a few times. And hopefully, if this is okay for you, by the way, and hopefully you'll have noticed that my wrists are in front of my shoulders slightly. So it's quite often the case that there's an instruction to have the wrists directly below the shoulders, but that doesn't suit me, actually. I prefer them just slightly in front, so that we're not putting too much strain on the wrists. No strain, no strain. That's my motto. So just rocking back and forwards. And then from there, we're going to just sit back into child's pose. We're going to come up onto all fours. We're going to tuck the toes under, and we're going to just press back into this downward facing dog. And then as you breathe in, releasing the knees down. So we're going to flow through this. You can flatten the feet and coming back into child's pose. So just breathing in, coming up, tucking the toes under, pressing back into this downward facing dog. And then release down. So we're going to flow through it a few times. If this is too much, you can come back into the cat-cow tilt, or you could just rest in child's pose. But just simply flowing through it. And as you're coming up into the dog, then maybe you could start to lift the pelvic floor and engage the lower abdomen. So we're just stimulating the sort of Manipura Chakra and the Manipura, a little bit of the Shavasana there, the water center. And then next time we come into downward dog, we're going to hold it there. So just for 5 breaths, if that's okay for you. So whatever number of breaths suits you, just allowing this to develop. So the heels press down towards the floor. You're looking towards the knees to lengthen the back of the neck. And of course, we're engaging through the throats there. Pelvic floor, abdomen are lifted as well. And the chest is pressing back towards the thighs. And the shoulders there, with the help of the external rotation in the upper arms, finding that space. And of course, we've got the breath. So there's lots to keep our mind occupied there. And then I make that about 5-ish, 5 short breaths there. Let's release down and resting back into child's pose. And you could either stack the hands on top of each other, or if you wanted to, you can bring the hands by the side of the feet, draping the shoulders over the knees, and breathe deeply. So the breath here is restricted in the abdomen, into the abdomen. So we just make the most of that, and we can expand our rib cage, side of the ribs, back of the heart. Just feeling the sort of ebb and flow of the breath as we're in this resting position before we move on. And then let's reach forward with both hands, fingers nicely spread. We're going to come up onto all fours. We're going to tuck the toes under and then come into a kneeling position. So this makes the feet even more awake, hopefully. And if you want to increase the intensity on the backs of the feet, then just nudging the knees back a little bit, and then interlink the fingers. And then as you breathe in, pressing the palms away and all the way up. So feeling this really nice opening through the chest while sinking down onto the heels, tucking the tailbone under. So we're not overarching the back, we're tucking the tailbone under. So the in order to do that, the thighs are active too. And then release from there. And then let's just nudge the fingers along along one. And then breathe, coming up. And then release. Coming down. And then this will be a glorious relief. It's like taking off a tight pair of shoes. And we're going to flatten the feet. So feeling this really nice opening from the knees to the toes. And if you wanted to take this a little bit further, you could press the fingertips into the ground and then just lifting the knees. And if it's not too early on a Saturday morning for you, then maybe you can bring the hands into this. I think it's a bit too early for me to do this. Into the prayer position. And let's tuck the toes under, using the fingertips on the ground and just gently coming up into this ragdoll forward bend. So the knees are really, really bent, as you can see. Just going to move my screen so I can actually see where we are. Okay, yeah, so the knees are really bent. So bent enough so that my belly is resting on my thighs. So, and there's always a tendency I've noticed in classes that everybody's into this kind of thing, you know, and it's and that's fine, but not for now, because this is all about releasing through the back and then just shrugging the shoulders a few times and then just allowing the head to release. And I quite like to do this little figure of 8, sort of dragging the knuckles, this infinity sign, just dragging the knuckles along the ground just to release the spine, keeping those knees nice and bent, allowing the traction, the weight of the head on the neck. And then let's just come up, but we're going to come up mindfully. So we're going to engage the thighs, engage the glutes, the abdomen, lifting the pelvic floor. And then we just come up in this flat back position, using all the muscles around here, none in the back. And then we're in this standing position. Okay, so, and let's stand with our feet together here. So standing with the feet together, and so having if you can, the toes touching, but a little gap, maybe a thumb's gap between the heel. And in one movement now, what we're going to do is we're going to just grip the mat with our feet. So really gripping the mat with the feet. So really connecting with the earth there. And this is all going to be done on the out breath, by the way, the exhalation. And then I'm going to lift the kneecaps by engaging the thighs, sucking the thighs into the hips, pulling up the perineum, pelvic floor, engaging the abdomen, lifting the sternum, and then pressing the fingertips down, the shoulder blades down, and the crown of the head up. So this is very much a very formal Iyengar type movement, and I'm not an Iyengar person, but I was taught this, and so I thought I'd share it with you. So if there's any Iyengar people out there, then don't be too critical. So I'm only a beginner. So release from there. So taking a big breath in, and then as you exhale, lift everything, including the sides of the mouth, but not the shoulders. And I find that doing this, it really helps my neck, and it even gets into the crown of my head. I must have a bit of tension there. Well, I know I do at times. So I'm going to release that. So Just practice this with your own breath on the exhale. So just gripping into the ground. And it is a really nice way of finding this length. So it's connecting really the earth with the divine, if that is your kind of vibe. Or the just moving earth and sky, Mother Earth and Father Sky if you're a shaman. And let's just do that once more. Taking a big breath in and then just releasing the feet down and the crown of the head up. Just finding that connection with all of the muscle groups in the body. And just noticing the effect that has on the mood. Makes me want to smile, I don't know. And then just release from there. Okay, just giving the body a little bit of a shake. So, it's quite kind of introduces a little bit of tension into the body in a sense that. So let's shake off. Okay, and then just gonna bring the hands onto the hips, and this is the imaginary hula hoop we've got going here. Just moving the hips around. So it's getting into the hips, and so maybe it's connecting with the water center, but we're fully grounded underneath the feet, and the head is moving up. So just giving all of these chakras, all these energy centers, all these elemental parts of the body, earth, water, fire, air, ether, just connecting with them all in some way or other. And let's just move in the other way around. So people often say they don't have time to do yoga. Well, this could definitely be done whilst the kettle's boiling, this one. Maybe, maybe you could also put the leg up on a work surface while that's happening, giving the backs of the legs a bit of an opening as well. And let's just release from there. Bringing the feet together again. And then as you breathe in, palms facing up, looking up to the palms, looking up to the hands. And then as you exhale, palms facing down. So coming into the shoulders now. So breathing in, palms up, chest lifts, and then exhale. So I always, any opportunity I can have to lift my sternum, I grab it. Lift up there, and then keeping the hands up there. And either depending on how flexible you're feeling in the shoulders today, you can either bring the palms together and or you can have them just facing each other. And let's just do this swaying palm. So just moving from side to side. So this is I sort of stole this one from one of these Bikram hot yoga sessions a few years ago. I left the heat in the room, but I walked out with this one. It's a really nice way to find that length in the waist and the armpits in particular. So we do equal numbers on both sides. So as we come up to the center, we're finding this length and then just holding it in the center. And then from there, we're going to lift up through the sternum, through the crown of the head, and then just do a gentle back bend. So gentle. And then coming up and just gently coming into this forward bend, and a really nice way to counterpose that back bend we just did. So we're going to just halfway down here, bringing the weight onto the front of the ankles. So notice, so the heels remain down, but the front of the feet just start to take a little bit of that weight, and maybe the hands can slide down a bit more. But the most important thing is this length. So as you breathe in, the crown of the head moves away from the tailbone. And just leaning forward a little bit more. And then bending the knees, engaging the glutes, and then abdomen, and then coming up into this standing position. Okay, and let's just take a couple of moments here just to take stock. It's always good to take stock, isn't it? And so I'm standing with my feet hip width apart, and the feet are parallel. I'm feeling the weight coming down through the soles of the feet. The crown of the head and sternum is lifted. My eyelids are gently closed. And I'm just being aware of the breath. I'm kind of getting a little bit of a heartbeat thing going on there. A gentle beat of the heart, really nice to connect. And just using the exhalation. So if the mind is really active, then just being with the exhale. If the mind is a bit sluggish, then being with the inhale. And then we're going to come out of that one. So let's just lower the chin to the chest. Open the eyes. And lifting the gaze. And let's separating the feet out. So we're going to come into a little triangle sequence here. And so we're going to have the feet at about a 10-2 position. And we're going to do a version of a twisted triangle. So we're going to just bring the arms up into the air. And then I quite like to place my palms up just to release the shoulders a little bit, and then just give them a bit of a twist around. Just looks quite good on video, this. It looks kind of a bit of groovy dancing. This is like going back to the nightclub days. So just breathe in. So palms facing down. And on the exhale, we're going to bring the left hand down on towards the right knee or right shin or right ankle. So it's a bit of a twist going on. And then bending that right knee and then coming all the way up. And then we're going to do the other side. So it's right onto the left. So just go as gentle as you like with this. Just bending that knee, softening the knee as you're coming up. So we're going to move from side to side. So, and as you all know, it's as the body is opening, that is the in-breath. And as you exhale, the body closes down. So just following the natural rhythm of the breath. We're not fighting against anything. If anything, we're just going with that flow. And as we develop the awareness, we're able to actually detect where that flow is, and we can be discerning to make sure it's the right flow for us. So it's just a little bit about having a peek inside physically, in this case, but also noticing the effect that this has on the mental state. And then next time the left hand is on the right side, on the knee or the shin or the ankle, or even on the outer side of that right foot, then just hold it. So hold it here for about 5 breaths. So just allowing this to develop. So as you're breathing in, lengthen the front of the body. As you exhale, release down into the twist a little bit more that suits you. Remember, no pain, no pain. So just allowing that to develop, just enjoying this posture, this movement. And once you've done the 5 breaths on that side, and gently softening that knee, coming up, and then let's come on to the other side. This nice little opening, and just noticing where this is affecting, you know, it's opening the backs of the legs, it's a twist in the abdomen. Maybe you can even feel it in the heart space as you open up through the heart. And I normally have my head in this in a bit of a neutral position, so keeping the chin tucked gently into the neck here. So I don't tend to twist my neck much. It doesn't suit my body. And then once you've done your 5 breaths on that side, then coming up. And then let's just momentarily just bring the feet towards each other, giving them a bit of a shake off. And then we're going to come into a more formal Trikonasana now. But before that, we're going to just give ourselves a nice opening on the inside of the thighs. So you've got 2 options here. So you can either start on your knees, so a bit of padding under the knees, and then bringing that foot out to the side. Or if you wanted to come into a half squat, then we're going to start in this kind of position, feet are parallel, and then we're going to come like this. So it's a bit of a Cossack dancer. So whichever version you want to go through. So you can either start on the knees, and then end up here, or do a half squat. So whatever suits you. Okay, and then, so this is, yeah, it's a bit of a Cossack vibe going on here. And you'll notice that my foot is nice and vertical. And then if you wanted to, whichever position you are in, then you could maybe bring the hands into this prayer position. So, and allowing a bit of space as well in the armpit. So we're not kind of like this, praying that we're not going to fall over. We're going to just be in this position. And I've fallen over from this position many times, and especially in front of classes. And actually, the fear of falling is worse than falling itself. So there you go. That was a very philosophical point there. So it doesn't hurt as much as you imagine. So there you go. I do motivational posters too. And then from there, let's just move to the other side. So whichever way you want to move to the side, if you've been in this squat, then you can just move over. If you've been in this kind of position, then we're just going to bring that knee in and then move to the side. So it's entirely up to you how you're going to navigate that journey. So we're starting off on our fingertips. So wherever you're in, though, it's in this really nice kind of inner thigh opening. And I always find this really helps when we come into Trikonasana. I'm a bit of a runner too. I run, so I do get tight hamstrings and stuff from that. And then if you want to chance I'm a bit wobbly this side. So there you go. So I do need to work on my left side, actually, that's for sure. Ooh. So keeping the shoulders relaxed and the space in the armpits. Gosh, I'm very wobbly today. And then from there, let's come up and just bringing the feet towards each other again, just giving them a bit of a shake off. Maybe give ourselves another circle. And I always like to listen to my body when I do these kind of things. So my body is saying, this is what I need. So whatever you need, you're very welcome to join me. And let's just step back, and we're going to come into Trikonasana. And this is really nice. The emphasis now is in the heart space. So it's a really nice heart opener. And so the feet are kind of about as wide as, just checking out this alignment from the wrists down towards the ankles. So no wider than that. So if you're incredibly flexible, then ease off a bit. So we're going to bend that right knee, and the right foot comes out to the side. And then we're going to come onto the ball of the left foot, left heel back, and then hips facing forward, breathing in, palms coming up, hands coming up, palms facing down, and then just nice gentle side bend into this Trikonasana. And so really, to make the most of this opening through the heart space, then let's just curl that top arm down. So curling that top arm down. So we're like the ferns which are starting to unfurl at the moment. And then as you breathe in, gonna unroll that arm coming up, opening through the chest, and then just coming all the way back down again, just once more. And if when you're fully opened, when you're fully in bloom, and if the chest is pointing down, then maybe you could just bring that bottom hand up a little bit. So it's really about opening up through the heart space, the Anahata Chakra. Really nice. And the legs are strong. The kneecaps are lifted. There's activity there. And then let's bend that front knee. And we're going to come up. Let's just release the hands, just allowing the shoulders to roll back a few times. Feet coming in parallel, and then left foot out to the side. Right heel back, hips facing forward, both legs straight. Breathe. And then really nice side bend into our Trikonasana. And then rolling that top arm down. So chest point faces down. And then as you breathe in, just allow the chest to be nice and open, hand coming up, fingertips pointing up towards the ceiling, keeping the neck head in a nice neutral position. And just once more through this. Rolling down and then uncurling. So, and to me, it's like Trikonasana. If I was to visualize it, it'd be like a sort of a splodge of paint. When you splodge paint, and it kind of reminds me of that. It's kind of it's an expression like that in my mind's eye. And then bending that front knee, and then coming up, and then releasing from there. And then let's just step the feet towards each other and giving them a little bit of another shake. Okay. So before we sort of come into our balance, because a balance is always good, because we're kind of moving slowly up into the sort of Ajna chakra here, but we're going to just do some work on the neck, and all we're going to do is we're going to pretend we've got a crayon strapped to the top of our head, and we're just going to move the head around so that the crown of the head moves up, and then we're just circling the neck. So we're not throwing the head back in any way or forward, or we're not going to the extremes of this. We're exploring the sensible edges. So being aware of the neck, and I've got a creaky kind of thing going on in my neck. It's maybe it's the base of my skull. These little things keep popping. And then let's just bring in the head rotating in the other direction. So I was reaching up through the crown of the head and shoulders releasing down. And then release from there. And let's just bring in the right arm out to the side. And so it doesn't matter actually which arm. I'm getting mixed up really with this video stuff as whether you're recognizing this as my right or left, but let's not worry about that. So just gently resting the opposite hand on that shoulder, and then just releasing the opposite ear down. So my right hand is out to the side, my left ear is releasing down. So I'm feeling this really nice opening in the neck and shoulders. And then you could look down towards the floor. And then you could look up towards the ceiling. And if you wanted to intensify this, you could bring the teeth together, the molars together. Just enjoy this lengthening through the neck and shoulder. And then just release that. So we're not going to use we're going to release the arm, keeping the ear down towards that shoulder. And then we're going to use the hand just to help our head come up. And then we're going to bring it over to the side. So opposite arm out to the side, just gently releasing both shoulders down. Just feeling this nice opening through the neck, feeling into the body. The thumb is facing back, the palm is facing upwards, and then looking up and down. Just feeling this range of movement into your body. Close the eyes if that helps. Just being mindful of the shoulders, though, especially this shoulder where the ear is moving to. So there's a tendency for that shoulder to try to meet the ear, come up and meet the ear. It's very keen. But what we're interested in doing is letting the ear move towards the shoulder instead. Not introducing any tension there. So just noticing where this affects in the neck, shoulder, down to the elbow and beyond. And then from there, keeping that ear down, releasing the arm, and then just using the hand to press up gently up through up into an upright position. And then just finally, let's just interlink the hands behind the body And just pressing that double fist down. And then release. Bringing the hands onto the shoulders. Circling shoulders round gently. It's going one way and then the other. And then we're going to come into our final standing posture here, a balance. So, I'm always a big fan of starting my balances on my less dominant side. So I've always got something to look forward to. It's like, you can never have your pudding first because that would spoil it. So, so in terms of me, this is my left side is less dominant, and we're going to just come into a simple tree balance. And with the tree, you can either have the foot resting on the inside of the lower leg below the knee, or having it up high, sort of so the heel is by the groin. So it's strong through the standing leg, pressing into that other side. So I'll give you those choices. Okay, so I'm going to come here. So finding that balance, so strong leg. And with any balance, as you know, it's about feeling relaxed, being relaxed, and also just focusing gently, having your drishti, the awareness focal point in front of you, and then either on the floor or on a wall, and then bringing the hands into this prayer position. So space in the armpits. So being strong through the standing legs. So we're really connecting down through our roots are growing down into the earth. And the mind is making all of those tiny adjustments, those little shaky little movements of the leg, those readjustments. And it's about focus and clarity. And then we can open the arms up, so allowing the branches of the tree to expand out. The chest lifts strong through the leg, allowing that divine energy to illuminate those leaves of the tree, capture that divine energy, and then let's gather it together in the palms of the hands. And we're going to bring the hands down into the center of the head, the eyebrow center, for right thought, into the throat, right speech, and into the heart, right action. And let's just release from there. And we're going to go straight onto side two. So all the weight, strength, the kneecap is lifted, and we can either be in this position or bringing the foot up. Again, pressing the standing leg into that foot as much as the other way around. So it's this, it's a bit of a Newton's law thing going on. It's equal and opposite reactions. I'm going to bring my foot down here. I've not had my morning coffee yet, so I'm going to have my foot here for today. So below the knee. So I was never kind of at the kneecap, because we don't want to be dislodging that knee in any way. And then we're going to bring the hands into this prayer position. So in front of the heart space. So we've got relaxed attitude, we've got focus, soft focus. Always a soft focus, I think. And then breathing in, bringing the arms up into the air, palms facing up, chest lifted. So allowing that divine energy to drop down into the body. Because that is the job of the Sahasrara chakra. And then just releasing those arms together, the hands together, collecting that energy and bringing it down into the forehead, into the throat, and into the chest. And release from there. Okay. And I think it's time we kind of found that floor. So coming down onto the ground, and if you're feeling dangerous like me, you can roll down. But otherwise, don't be crazy. And then finding this nice length through the body. And we're going to come into a very formal Shavasana, just for a few moments, not for too long. We're going to bring the heels together, allowing the feet to flop out to the side. And we're going to bring the hands by the side of the body, about, say, 45 degrees away, palms facing upwards. So we're in a very sort of anatomical position here. If this is too much on the back, then obviously, bend the knees so you're in control. But being this, if you can, this formal Shavasana, gently closing the eyes. Breathe in and breathe out. Just enjoy this connection with the ground. So having the awareness of the soles of the feet, the backs of the calves, the thighs and buttocks, the mid and upper back, shoulders, elbows, the backs of the hands, and the back of the head. Breathing in and breathing out. So we're not going to stay here for much longer. So just one more breath here. And then we're going to come into a simple cross-legged seated position, or you could sit on a chair, or you can remain in Shavasana if you wanted to, maybe separate the feet. But let's try a seated meditation. So you can either roll over onto your right-hand side, or if you wanted to come up in a different way, then placing the hands underneath the lower back, palms facing down, and then pressing the hands and the elbows into the ground to sit up. And so, yeah, if you've got a block or a meditation cushion, or a stool or a chair, so whichever suits you. And I'm going to come into so we can either be in this position, whichever position suits you. This suits me. If you're comfortable in lotus position, then by all means. Yeah, be comfortable whilst I have a sip of my chamomile tea. Okay, so just finding the seat below the connection with the ground, with the earth. So we're going to be sat here for about 5 to 8 minutes or something, and then I'm going to I invite you to come down into Shavasana, but at any point this is not feeling good for you, then don't be in pain. Not a big fan of discomfort myself. So just gently closing the eyes, and when I first sit, I connect with the ground underneath the body, and then I just place the hands underneath, just below the navel, and on the exhale, I just press the lower belly in and up. And I find it really helps to, acts a bit like a corset. It does the job that the abdominal muscles, all of the core muscles could do. And then just release there, but keeping that length in the spine. Sternum's lifted, crown of the head is moving up. The head is nicely resting on the neck. And then just start with the awareness in the center of the head. So it's the very center of the head and in a direct line behind the eyebrow center. And this is known by a number of names, this region. It's, I guess most commonly, it's the Ajna Chakra, or the third eye, or the Agya Chakra. But let's not get too het up with names and concepts and stuff. Let's just experience. So gentle awareness in the center of the head. The element is manas, or mind. And the mantra is Om. And then bringing the awareness now down into the root chakra. So it's the point around the perineum in men, the cervix in women. And you can meditate on the color red, or a red inverted triangle. This is around safety and security and stability when balanced. And when it's not balanced, there could be a feeling of instability, anxiety, fear. But resting the awareness on this point, just using it simply as an anchor of awareness. Or you could visualize the red inverted triangle. Or the mantra is Lam. Lam. So moving up into the Svadhisthana, the water center. And it's said to be about 2 finger widths up from the Muladhara chakra. It's an area of creativity, engagement, sort of seeking pleasure. And either you could be aware of just this region, just using it as an anchor for awareness, or you could visualize a vast ocean at night. The water element. And the mantra is VAM. VAM. So that's something to explore. Just moving up further now into the Manipura Chakra, the solar plexus, the fire center. And this is said to be located in the spine, directly behind the navel. You can either remain seated here, or if you wanted to find your Shavasana, then do so, but having the awareness on the keeping the mind quiet and awareness on the fire center without disturbing yourself too much. And this is a region of self-esteem and ambition and will when balanced. If you've got fire in your belly, and all of these energy sensors, if they're off balance, they can go from one extreme to the other. So it could lead to sort of low self-esteem on the one hand, or control, dominance over others on the other hand. So it's always extremes. And the color is yellow. Or you can visualize a bright, shining sun to help to restore balance to the Manipura Chakra. It's moving up further now into the Anahata, the heart center. This is associated with either the color green or blue. The mantra is YAM. YAM. And this is about love and compassion. It's associated with the element air. And you can either meditate on this space or visualize a blue lotus or a blue hexagon with a tiny flame in the center. A steady, unflickering flame. to regain balance in the Anahata chakra. Moving further up into the Vishuddhi, into the throat center. The mantra is Ham. So you can chant Ham either externally or internally, or both. And it's about communication. It's around the throat. It's about communication, but it's important that we communicate the right message, the pure message. So there's a discernment around this chakra. And it's associated with the element ether. As well as just simply resting the awareness in this chakra or on the mantra Ham. You can also visualize a large white drop of nectar or amrita, which falls into this throat chakra. And then finally, as we come up to the center of the head, the Agya chakra. The mantra Om. So in balance, this gives intuition and wisdom. Or it can give lack of clarity or direction when imbalanced. And simply meditating on this space or a tiny point of light and the Om symbol. So breathing in, breathing out. Just becoming aware of the whole of the body. Breathing in the whole of the body, breathing out. The ebb and flow of the breath. The expansion and contraction of the body. And then bringing the awareness now down into the ground, into the earth. Just feeling the contact that the body has on the floor. That earth energy. Starting to lengthen the breath. Breathing in energy and prana into the body. Wiggling the fingers and toes. If you've been seated, and just starting to wiggle the fingers a little bit, maybe. And then if everybody reaches up and over the head with both arms, really nice stretching out the whole of the body. And if you've been seated, then just bringing the arms back down again, and then just giving yourself a little twist to the right side and the left side. And then you can sort of do a forward bend to release the lower back, if that suits you. And then if you've been lying down, then you can roll onto your right hand side just for a few moments before gently coming into a simple cross-legged position. And I just wanted to just finish the class, finish the practice by chanting 3 Oms. So I think chanting doesn't work very well through Zoom, but let's give it a go. So we're going to take a big breath in and out to start with. And breathing in. And breathing in. And once more. It's nice to connect with the vibration of the chant. And lowering the chin to the chest. Open the eyes and lift the gaze. Namaste.